You've just come into someone's life, and it almost feels like a sense of deja vu, even though you don't know this person very well. Now, what's happening with the World stepping forward and the Four of Cups is that this person is so flippin' confused why you've come into their life at this time, because they're literally still grieving that something else didn't work out. But with the World, this person subconsciously manifested you. You've come into this person's life for a reason, but what's happening with the Chariot coming through and the Empress is that this person doesn't think they have the capacity to love you right now. And it's the reason why they're telling you they're emotionally unavailable to give you love. But what's happening is you were brought into this person's life to actually teach them to let go. Because what's happening with this Four of Cups is rejection and abandonment. But with the Ten of Cups, it's almost like the rejection and the abandonment was meant to happen, because if it didn't happen for this person, they wouldn't have ever moved forward. They wouldn't have ever stopped trying or reached unhealthy ways when it came to this previous person. So it was kind of meant to happen that it didn't work out with someone else, because the Spirit and the universe opened the doors for you to come into this person's life, because subconsciously this person has been manifesting you all along. But what's happened is they've gotten scared because they've been in so many relationships that isn't what this person wanted. But what happened is this person is confused with what it is they wanted and what it is they actually asked for. So they're getting confused now, because you've been brought in at a time when this person can't comprehend it, because their emotions are going completely haywire since something previous. But your love was meant to come in at this time, because your love is meant to heal this person, and that's what they're missing, what they're failing to see, because they're looking at you being this bombshell or being this interruption that's interrupted their life in this way that it has. And part of them is scared about losing such control when they're going through this grieving energy over someone else. But they're looking at you coming into their life, and they're being like, how can I love this person right now when I can't even love myself? But the thing is you're meant to love this person, because you're meant to love this person, and you're meant to teach this person about becoming emotionally vulnerable or helping them through this pain, because it's something this person was never going to do anyway. They were never going to do it without you. Even though there were so many rebounds or so many relationships, they were never actually going to be vulnerable until they hit rock bottom. And it sounds like a bad thing, but this person kind of had to hit rock bottom for you to come in, or them subconsciously manifest you. But because they've hit rock bottom, there is this energy where this person has somewhat surrendered to their emotions. So now they're kind of coming more to the realization that there is a reason that you come into their life. But they're flippin' terrified, and they're so flippin' scared here, because they feel like they physically and emotionally don't have the love to give you. But they're looking at you as someone that's unattainable. They're looking at you as being someone they can't keep, someone they can't love, because something previously here didn't work for this person. But with the Magician and the King of Cups, this person is meant to love you. This person is meant to love you, but they have to love themselves first. And that's what you come into this person's life to teach them all about, because they've never learned that before in any single type of relationship. And they had to be in this position that they are in to attract you in, because they had to learn what they actually need to heal, not what they want to heal. Now they're looking at this situation and actually finding it odd that you've come in at the time that you have. But what I keep hearing is that you've come into this person's life at the time that was needed. And this is like it's an orchestrated event by the universe. It's like the universe planned this, because subconsciously this person's been manifesting you all along, but they couldn't bring you in previously until this person got removed from their life that they were with before. And sooner or later, this person is going to be open to why you've actually come in here into their life. But right now there's an energy of them having a lot of guard up and a lot of walls up and boundaries up, because they're so hurt by something else that didn't work out. But there's also a lot of internal reflections and internal lessons that this person needs to learn from this previous connection or this previous hurt. And that's what you've been brought into this person's life to help them teach them that. Someone is using money as a way to try and feel successful, so they don't have to feel like a complete failure since you left. Now, this person they believe that you left them, but in reality, they actually pushed you away. And you just got sick and tired of having to stand up for yourself and having to reassure and validate this person constantly that you weren't leaving them. So this person did this over time and pushed you away because of their accusations, but also because this person was never vulnerable with you and they were pissed off that you weren't vulnerable with them. But they gave you no reason and they gave you no safe space to actually be vulnerable with you. And it's coming back to haunt this person. Because the fact that you weren't vulnerable, it means this person has nothing to stand on. It means this person doesn't know if you ever loved them. And that's what's haunting this person, is the constant guessing over what your emotions actually were for them. But that's this fault of this person, because they didn't want to create a space that was vulnerable. They didn't want to necessarily be vulnerable, but they snapped under pressure because they could feel that you were slipping away and they felt that they had no choice but to be vulnerable. But then they got pissed off and annoyed that you didn't become vulnerable, and they'd often blame you for it, but they did it on purpose. Because with the High Priestess stepping forward and the Two of Pentacles, you weren't making a choice or a decision, and it was driving this person absolutely crazy because they made the wrong choice and they made the wrong decision. But they were hoping that your judgment would turn everything around, because they were the one that left you, or they were the one that rejected you. They were the one that said to you that it was over, but they were hoping that you would then make a choice or you would rectify the whole situation. So they didn't have to feel this sense of pressure when it came to them making a choice or a decision, but you didn't. And what's happening now is it's like this person's blaming you for moving on, but they're blaming you for moving on, right? Because they can't blame you for actually not being vulnerable, because they know that it was their fault that you couldn't be vulnerable with them. And they know they can't blame you because they know they have no information or facts to actually stand on. So they're trying to blame you for the fact that you've moved on from them. But what they're actually pissed off about is they're pissed off within themselves, because they're pissed off that they didn't create a safe place of communication, of vulnerability, of a safeness, because they deliberately stopped you from opening up. They deliberately stopped you from being able to speak your truth. And this person thought that at the time it was a good thing. It was a good thing because it meant that they had control. But now what's happening is, by them not actually knowing how you felt about them, it means this person can't actually move on at all. Which means that with this pressure of actually making a choice and a decision, this person has completely stuffed themselves over, because it means not only do they have to deal with going back and focusing on what could have been and focusing on what would have happened if they actually listened to their intuition, but now they have to deal with all of these other things and seeing you moving on, but you not responding and you not replying, and it's driving this person absolutely crazy because they actually have an anxious attachment style. But you either never actually knew that, or you never knew to expect that, because this person was so unpredictable that you never actually knew their attachment style to begin with. Someone thought they could give you breadcrumbs so they didn't have to speak about how much passion and physical energy they had for you. But what happened is that you weren't happy with what this person gave you and you walked away from this person. And now they have to deal with this energy of not being able to actually be vulnerable and opening up. And it's absolutely killing this person inside. It's killing this person's heart, but it's killing this person's love for you. Not so much for you, but their ability to be able to give it to you. Because what's happening now is they can't talk about their emotions and their feelings for you. And all they kind of want to do now is give this to you, but they can't. Because what they did before was reject you and abandon you because they didn't feel safe and comfortable to tell you how much they were feeling for you, because they have a fear of communication. They have a fear of reaching out first, either because they have abandonment issues, trust issues, or they haven't moved on from previous heartbreaks. So this person didn't feel comfortable to reach out to you first. So I see that what they did was they either tried to get you to break up with them, or they kind of pushed you over the edge to try and get a reaction and a response how you would feel about what this person gave you. And because you didn't appear to be upset, because you didn't appear to be hurt or in pain by the fact this person only gave you breadcrumbs, you moved on. But this person did this because they were so scared of losing what they thought this was. Now, they don't have any clarity over what this actually is, and that's their fault. But they can't talk about their emotions and their feelings now, and it's driving this person absolutely crazy. They're upset and they're annoyed that you didn't react more heartbroken, or you didn't react more of an energy of hurt. But the thing is, it's like this person never gave you their love to begin with, so you couldn't actually let yourself go. Therefore, you didn't have any vulnerability with this person. You lost respect for this person because you felt that they were constantly playing you by putting up boundaries, because they were so scared of communicating with you. They were trying to get reactions. They were trying to get responses because they couldn't stand the fact that neither one of you was communicating here. Now, what's happening with this Ace of Wands and this Page of Pentacles, they have to keep their emotions hidden. They have to keep their emotions inside. They have to somewhat be even in deception with themselves now about the truth, because they can't do anything now about the truth with their emotions. They can't deal with it. They can't express it to you. But because they can't express it to you, it means they also can't express it to themselves, because they need something. They need these emotions to turn into something. They can't stand the fact these emotions or this truth is going nowhere. So what's happening now is they're literally trying to make it known to you that they're moving on from you, but they're not, and they're never going to be, because they're never going to be able to get over that energy, what could have been, or what could be, or what will be, because they know that there's no clarity they're going to get with their emotions. They know they're not going to get over this energy, because they know the more they can't give it to you, the more it's going to haunt this person, because the more they can't explore it themselves. And this person's going to feel like a failure, but they're also going to feel this energy that everything's kind of pointless now in other relationships and other connections until they actually get this clarity. But they're not seeking the clarity because they want to convince you that they're moving on from you, even though they're not.